So for our research title, is Workplace Factors Affecting Employees' Turnover Intention, the Role of Supervisory Inclusiveness, Internal CSR, and Workplace Bullying in Nando's ICT Shah Alam. So our group decided to focus on understanding what causes employees to stay or leave the organization, specifically within the food service industry. So the target population and the sample is we target all employees in Nando's ICT Shah Alam, such as their managers, supervisors, full-timers, and part-timers. The sampling technique that we'll be using in our research is convenience sampling, which is suitable for collecting responses directly from available employees. This survey aims to gather data across different departments and job position to ensure fair representation. So the objective and the issues of our research is the main objective of this study is to investigate how inclusive supervisory behaviors, internal corporate social responsibilities, and workplace bullying influence employees' turnover intention. We aim to provide practical recommendations to help organizations to reduce turnover and to improve employees' retention. The issues we are addressing includes how do these three factors affect turnover intentions, to what extent can positive practices like inclusiveness and CSR reduce the negative effects of bullying. So the variables in this research is the dependent in our study is employee turnover intentions, and the dependents are three: inclusive supervisory behavior, internal corporate social responsibility, and workplace bullying. The hypotheses are inclusive supervisory behavior negatively affect turnover intention, internal CSR negatively affects turnover intention, and workplace bullying positively affects turnover intention. In simple terms, good supervision and strong internal CSR reduce turnover while bullying increases it. So the research framework and the theory. So for the research framework shows how inclusive supervisory behavior and internal CSR are expected to decrease turnover intention while workplace bullying increases it. The framework is based on social exchange theory, which explains that employees stay when they feel valued and they are fairly treated within the organizations. When the exchange is unfair, such as through bullying, employees are more likely to leave the company because they are not treated well and due to the toxic environment. The study uses quantitative, which is cross-sectional survey approach to collect data from Nando's employees, and we plan to distribute these questionnaires covering three workplace factors and the turnover intentions. We feel like this method is the most suitable as it allows us to measure relationships between variables, and we get to identify which factors has the strongest influence and employees' decision to stay or to leave the organizations. So in conclusion, our research will help us identify workplace practice that actually help reduce turnover and promote more positive work environment in Nando's ICT Shah Alam. Thank you.
I'm continuing with this relationship between career adaptability and turnover intention. The second study was carried out in India among bank employees with 1,185 valid response. It examined how career adaptability affect turnover intention thought, job content, and organizational socializations. The findings show that adaptability employees feel less stuck in their jobs, and when organizations give support and trainings, they are happy and stay longer. This means adaptability and support are key to reducing turnover. I'm going to explain about myself, which is the impact of work leisure facilities on employee turnover intention. This study was done in China with 180 employees from different industries. It focused on how work leisure facilities affect turnover intention with positive emotions and supervisor support. The results show that when employee can balance work and leisure, they feel happier and are less likely to leave. Supportive supervisor also make this effect stronger. Overall, a healthy work-life balance helps reduce turnover. And this is my final journal, my third journal, which is does inclusive leadership mitigate employees turnover intention. The study looked place in China among 491 restaurant employees. It looked at how inclusive leadership lower turnover intention throughout job and work engagement. How share values strengthen this link. The results show that when leaders include and respect employees, they feel more connect and loyal to the company. Good leadership and similar value help reduce turnover in the hospitality industry. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Mazaki bin Ismail. So I'll be proceeding to my part. So the first journal is Employee Retention Strategies and Turnover Intentions, the role of perceived supervisor and organizational support. So this study was done in Uganda to see how human resource strategies affect turnover intentions. So it used job entry and on-the-job strategies as the independent variables, with supervisor and organizational support as mediators, and turnover intention as their dependent variables. So a total of 600 questionnaires were distributed, but only 387 employees respond from various departments and industries. So the findings shows that good HR retention strategies lower turnover intention. The second one is support from supervisor and the organization helps employees to stay. And the last one is on-the-job strategies were more effective than the job entry ones. Moving on to the second journal, which is effects of workplace silence, quiet quitting, and quiet firing on employee turnover. So this study was actually done in four African countries, which is Ghana, Namibia, South Africa, and Nigeria. So in this study, workplace silence is the main independent variables. Quiet quitting and quiet firing, they act as mediators. They show how silence leads to the turnover. So psychological safety is the moderator that reduces these negative effects. And the dependent variable is employee turnover. So for the respondent is 361 employees from multiple sectors that took part in it. So the results show that silence makes employees withdraw or get ignored, increasing the turnover. But when psychological safety is high, these effects are reduced. So lastly is the third journal, a study of inclusive supervisory behaviors, workplace social inclusion, and turnover intention in the context of employee age. This study was done for supervisor and employees in the Australian retail industry with 502 respondents. So 241 were supervisors and 261 were employees with different age groups. So here the independent variable is inclusive supervisory behavior, how fairly and respectfully supervisors treat their employees. So the mediator is workplace social inclusion, which connects inclusion to turnover. Employee age is the moderator, and the independent variable is the turnover intention. The results showed that inclusion helps reduce turnover, especially among older employees who value positive relationship more. So, in summary, all the three studies show that when employees feel supported, included, and safe to speak up, they are more committed, engaged, and less likely to leave their jobs. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi sir, my name is Batrisha Mitadaris. So this is my first journal. How does internal corporate social responsibility influence employee turnover intention in the era of digital transformation? So this study was conducted in China, focusing on employees and their immediate supervisors from organizations that had been practicing the digital transformation and the ICSR for at least 3 years. So the respondents included 200 valid
employee supervisor pairs selected through samplings, purposive sampling. So the participants were full-time employees aged between 25 until 50 years old, with 39% male and also 61% female. So the study examined 4 main variables, which are ICSR for independent variable, employee turnover intention for dependent variable, and also OCB or organizational citizenship behavior for mediating variable. And moderating variable is the CSR satisfaction. So the finding revealed that ICSR reduced turnover intention both directly and also indirectly. So in short, good ICSR practice help retain employees and encourage engagement, especially during the digital transformation. Next is transforming bank through responsible leadership, a study of performance, reputation and employee turnover intention in Bangladesh. So the study was conducted in Bangladesh, focusing on full-time bank employees and also managers in major commercial banks. Out of 5,500 invitations, a total valid of 711 valid responses were collected through judgmental sampling. So most respondents were male, that covers 85%, aged 26 to 35 years old, with the majority of holding a master's or MBA degree and also 4 to 7 years of working experience. So the variables here, IV is responsible leadership, DV is bank performance reputation, mediating variable is employee turnover intention, and also control variables is gender, age, income and also education. So the finding shows that leadership improve both performance and also reputation while reducing the turnover intention. Show how to retain employees become important in achieving better organizational outcome. And last is assessing the mediating role of organizational justice between the responsible leadership and employee turnover intention in healthcare sector. So this study was carried out in India, focusing on the healthcare workers both in private and also public hospitals. The sample consists of 387 employees, including doctors, nurses, supervisors and also staff. So the research variables are IV for responsible leadership, mediating variable for organizational justice, DV is employee turnover intention, and also the finding reveals that responsible leadership significantly reduced turnover intention, and it also improved perception of fairness and also organizational justice. So the responsible leaders reduce the turnover both directly and indirectly, making the justice be the key factor of employee retention in the healthcare.
Hi sir, my name is Kemanyako Kumarisan and I'll be starting off with my first journal, which is the impact of procedural justice on employee turnover intentions and the role of two mediators. So this research was conducted in the United States among full-timers and part-timers, employees from various industries, within the age of 17 to 79. The total of employees participated in this research was 439 using convenient sampling via Polyphig. So the independent variables was procedural justice and the dependent variables is turnover intentions. The mediating variables is job characteristic and meaningful work. The study found that when employees perceive fairness in decision making, they find their work more meaningful and are less likely to leave the organizations. So to keep it simple, procedural justice lowers turnover intention by improving job design and meaningful work. So for my second journal is workplace bullying and turnover intention among industrial employees, job burnout as the mediator. So this research took place in Haripur, Pakistan, focusing on chemical industry employees. There were 300 male respondents, including workers and supervisors, and were selected through purposive sampling. The independent variable was workplace bullying, and which includes work-related and person-related and physical intimidation. And the dependent variable was turnover intention. The mediator was job burnout. The findings of this research shows that bullying increases the job burnout, which then raises turnover intention. Person-related bullying had the strongest effect, but overall workplace bullying directly and indirectly increased employees' intention to leave through job burnout. So for my third article, it's linking authentic leadership and employee turnover intentions, the influence of sense of calling and job satisfaction. So this study was conducted in China involving 667 social workers from 26 social work organizations in Guangzhou, Shenzhen and Shanghai. The research used multi-stage cluster and availability sampling. The independent variable was authentic leadership and the dependent was turnover intention. So the mediating variables were sense of calling or job satisfaction in the workplace. So the study found that authentic leadership reduces turnover intention both directly and indirectly by increasing employees' purpose and satisfaction in work. So, to summarize, this article is basically authentic leadership inspire employees to stay loyal by fostering meaning and satisfaction in their jobs.